This is Arslan Larik. I'm the hypnotherapist today, and today we have Hira, who's an actor and a host. So we're basically going to have very, small conversations about how our lives basically revolve once you become progressively a little bit famous in the society, and then, how does fame affect in our personal lives, and how does it basically, affect us also as an individuals, as human beings. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But Hira, if you want
At this point in time, I'm entirely blank because, as he mentions these things, maybe we can get deeper into this conversation,
Right.
and I'll also get to learn a few things about myself.
Good. And so we didn't actually, really plan this, but we're just going to have very casual conversation. So here, one of the very few obvious cheese, and it's first thing first. Like how is life, transit from childhood to all the way up to this stage that we are today?
Some parts of it, it's a blur,
Yeah.
but I remember enjoying my childhood thoroughly. Always, I lived in a joint family, so it was always a party for me.
Nice.
And always had a lot of people to talk to and cousins to play with and those kinds of things. And because it was a joint family, we were given a very tiny space to live in. So I remember all five of us. I have like two other siblings, so the three of us and my parents, we all used to sleep in one room together. And I have beautiful memories of that. But and it was just most of my life I never felt the need to make any friends or get out of the house to meet up with friends because I had everything available in that house: love, friendship, and just everything. Yes.
I kind of like, I mean, these are some of the things that we have in childhood which are really, remarkable. I think things change over a period of time, I guess. That's how it basically goes out to. Now, when I look back, there's extremely less family time. There's mostly traveling, and then there's mostly meeting all these other people, you really don't even know about, but you're just experiencing. It's just a very different side of it, though. But yeah, it does intriguingly miss the. It does bring back those flashbacks, right?
It does. I. It's the smallest of things that brings back your childhood memory to you. I sit and I have a mango, right? It was mango season just recently. Mangoes were in season, and I was just sitting down and I was telling my husband that just the smell of this mango reminds me of, takes me back to that time where my mother used to sit us down on the floor and we all used to sit together, and she used to be cutting mangoes for us, and she used to be feeding us those mangoes with a spoon, wo jo slice kaat ke, and then you kind of take chamchas out of it. And just the smallest of things. There was another memory I'm forgetting about, but just smallest of things like that, they just bring back to you your childhood, and you can smell it and you can feel it, and it's so close to you, yet it's out of reach completely because it's all gone.
And how's life now then? So as we see it now, how does it channelize for us?
Now life is all about trying to figure out how to do things right, trying to figure out how is it that you can make things better for yourself in order to stay sane and just have your own peace of mind, and how can you manage it. And you see through people more easily now, and a lot of times you have that negativity in you because you can see through those people, but you can't cut them out of your life entirely.
True.
And I'm trying to speak your language here so we can get on to that part of it. And you tell yourself and you tell Allah that Allah Ta'ala, please just get rid of, help me get rid of all of these negative feelings inside of me, because it's very easy for them to kind of sit in you and ruin your state of mind, your own peace of mind. But other than that, yes, life is all about just working on your life, your lifestyle, your peace of mind, and how to maintain your happiness and your peace. And that's what it is about for me.
Fascinating. So basically, you go through life, right? I'm sure I've talked to a lot of people who have been into the rendering services and acting ke andar, dramas, hosts, or even those people who do attain the stardust, like celebrity, they do become, one of the top people. क्या होता है like when you have a very good star performance, like when you're on the top of the world, on certain areas, and then suddenly the next stage of it or the next moment of it, maybe is a dip. You're not getting any contracts, you're not getting any sign-ups. How does that make so that people
I've
know?
studied all of that and I have counseled myself about it, and I had prepared myself mentally prior to all of this, or even if it does happen and when it does happen, every actor, every media person will come with a shelf life.
Yeah.
It is one thing we have to understand, just like every other job. So you grow and you grow, but you have to understand that there's a certain limit to it.
Yeah.
आप इतना ऊपर जाके भी you can't go any further up as well. Like you've reached the top. Now what?
Then what?
Uh, because as an actor, as a model, you will start aging.
Yeah.
You will either have it in you or you don't. Arsalan, I'm very honest, and I know it. Like, I have questioned as well myself that why is it that I can't be a superstar? Those kinds of things. What is it that I'm lacking? I understand that my screen presence is not as great as many other girls' screen presence is. I see that as a human, and rather than being jealous of it, I accept it. And a lot of times, because I look at myself on TV as well, and I was like, I did not look this way. I looked much better in reality, than what happened, that kind of a thing. And you understand that, okay, that girl's coming out, so maybe that's why she's getting more work. And it's just about being realistic about, your expectations, and to expect the real kind of result and not the unexpected. And I don't believe in changing my features and the way I look and kind of, um, getting things done surgically, things removed or enhanced in any way, in order to just be the person that people want me to be. Because for me, I was this close to getting a rhinoplasty done, right? A nose job, because I used to have makeup artists tell me that behin naak katwa lo, or your nose has a bump here, which it does. But you know what? These are my imperfections, but I get them from my parents. This is my mother's nose. In the future, I will see my mother in me in some way or the other. That kind of a thing. That's the way I look at it.
It's the imperfections that make us beautiful.
Yeah.
हमारे लिए यही होता है. Interesting. So also one more thing that most people don't understand. In the type of business, especially in which you and I are, I basically ये एक बस coincidence कह लें कि I started meeting a lot of actors, actresses, and फिर उनकी therapy sessions, and then they're all rendered. But it took a toll on मेरी ज़िंदगी में भी अच्छा खासा toll. So like for example, मुझे भी अपना lifestyle बिल्कुल differently revamp करना पड़ा. Technically, I'm a business person. Yeah. Technically, I'm a business person. So the way हम लोग groomed होते हैं, we basically don't spend money. We spend money on the things that are really, really useful. And but then when I used to go to certain coaching sessions, and people would look at me from top to down, and they're like,
You felt the need to groom yourself.
Exactly.
Wear different clothes and,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
And that comes with a price, so I basically experienced buying up shoes like about 15,000 rupees, and these were shoes, first time when it happens, we're going to talk about the first memories when we bought such expensive things. Like, so I remember when I got my shoes, I told my wife to get it. Yeah, isko rack banana, isko dining table pe rakh lo, like
Yeah.
15, and they would be still uncomfortable. I'd rather get a 300 rupee shoe, which would be more comfortable. This would be uncomfortable.
Yes.
So what about that? Like, how does that take a toll? Like, लोग तो यही सोचते हैं कि we have all these brands and ये हमें cool बनाते हैं, ये हमें forefront पे लेके आते हैं. What are your views?
Did. I'll tell you why. I did not enter this field at the age of 19.
Right.
I entered this field at the age of maybe 28.
Nice.
Yeah. So for me, 28, 29, that's when I moved back from London. And I had seen enough of the world and that, that real world and witnessed it to know better. And for me, I had decided that, okay, this is wrong and I am against it. So, and it is against my, the way I live.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be that person just to kind of maybe that's why I didn't make it that far in this field. That's why you can't call me a celebrity.
I think success, like you said, I mean, I was only talking to you when you said that success doesn't have that definition. It's just हम लोग उसको कैसे देख रहे हैं, हम उसको कैसे view कर रहे हैं. I think we're doing a remarkable job as whatever we are.
To everyone has different priorities, I believe, and to you success may look different. To me, success is something that looks completely different in my head.
And also for a note, don't look at us and go and buy brands. Okay, so most of the brands that we get are endorsed. People would sponsor them, or they'll be part of the contract's wardrobe, right? But yes, it does create a feeling like everybody needs to go and buy them be in that circle and that type of group.
See, as a celebrity, I understand that we have many amazing designer friends who are also willing to, in order to, they're willing to let us borrow clothes if we can promote their name. So there's something in it for both.
True.
It takes you a while to get there, and even at this stage, not every designer wants to give me a kapra to wear, because I'm not that big enough, or maybe they won't get that kind of mileage out of me. So it's not about just buying expensive clothes. Most of the celebrities don't even end up buying any clothes. They are given to them as a loan, and then they're returned back to the designers. And so that's what it is. But everyone, you see a different side. And please understand that everyone, at the end of the day, is just a human being, just like, you know you right there. That's what I would like to say.
100%. And I'm glad we're bringing this up. I mean,
Yes.
nobody does usually talk about this.
Okay.
ठीक है, I mean, हम लोग बात करते रहते हैं. There are many other areas जिस पे बात हो सकती है. Child abuse, people who have gone through sexual assault. But even therapies के अंदर, the fantasy of a child, basically growing up having seen brands, they basically become, a very big, इनकी dichotomies create हो जाती है अंदर से कि यार काश अगर मैं भी ऐसा होता. I think this is also a very primitive issue to talk about, though.
Maybe it has something to do with childhood. I remember my parents always being very strict about making friends and meeting friends, and I remember my mother waiting outside my friend's house.
Nice.
That it's okay, I'm waiting here, tum jao, you enjoy yourself. And so that burden on me of my mother sitting and waiting outside, just so that they protect you not just from hanging out with boys कि आप कोई गलत काम करोगे, those kinds of things, but they are protecting you from the wrong kind of people or the wrong kind of crowd. Sometimes I do believe that we need to be wary of that. Even if you are privileged, and even if you have everything in the world, it is taught to us in our religion not to show off in any way, and live simply and live humbly. And why? Because we have, for obvious reasons, because you have other people envying the way you live, the car that you drive, the clothes that you wear, even smallest of things, like even the jewelry, and the jhumkas, or smallest of things, people want to know where you got these things from, or what lipstick are you wearing, those kinds of things. And when I tell them that this is literally, like 50 rupai ki jewelry or something like that, and they can't believe it when they hear about
The
it.
mind sinks it, like take a category, so this has to,
Yeah.
it can't be 50.
Yes.
And yeah, so also we're going to talk about certain perspectives. So we're going to talk about from your perspective and from my perspective. मेरे perspective से जितने भी actors and actresses, the people that I basically deal with, they're mostly businessmen, but ज़्यादातर जिनसे मैं बात करता रहता हूँ, for them depression has a very different toll. Like for example, I remember there was one actress who was, basically willingly, unconsciously, उसने अपने ताल्लुकात उसके घर में ख़राब होते जा रहे थे. And when I basically tried, I just spent, like, let's go for an evening walk or something, let's go to the mall. So I realized that when she was there and her brothers and sisters were also there, everybody in the mall would come, अच्छा आप side पे आ सकते हैं तस्वीर पे, and when the brothers and sisters, नहीं आप लोग side पे हो जाए. That kind of creates a, a sense of like, why is she, and फिर घर वाले भी देखो तुम्हारी बहन कितना अच्छा कर रही है, तुम्हारे भाई कितना अच्छा कर रहा है, the tanas that you.
It's all kismat. See, it's again, aapke, it matters. Depression is a lot to do with how much you have separated yourself from the world. I go out, I have people come in for pictures and all of that. I know that my brother and my mother will take a side, of course, what's the point of them being in the picture, that kind of a thing. And I don't think gharwalas can do that. Sometimes, and in many cases, you think of certain things. You need help. You need help. You need to talk about your feelings, be it negative or positive. In this case, I am very open about and very verbal about what I'm feeling. I have gone through anxiety. I have been able to recognize that that's what it is. It's not depression, it's anxiety. It is something that I made sure to surround myself with people. I made sure to talk about my feelings with my parents, with everyone, so that everyone knows. And it never came down to that point where I felt suicidal in any way, or I felt that taking a wrong turn. I didn't feel like taking a wrong turn because I never felt the need to. I turned to Allah, most importantly. I did my namaz, and I opened myself up to God and opened, my heart, poured my heart out. And because something or the other triggered it.
The best of listeners.
I realized what it was, and it was something about losing a loved one. And the world may not understand that relationship between you and that person, but once they're gone, you realize that importance and you get that realization. And the realization of not being able to spend your time with them again, that was just something that was making me really anxious. So it took some time and some understanding of that, okay, alhamdulillah that I had that time with him. Alhamdulillah that I had those memories with him. I got a chance to live those memories, I've actually lived that time, and it's not like I've just only imagined in my head. Those are my memories with my Taya. It was my Taya, by the way. And just those kinds of things. And how can you make it better is by praying for them.
Nice, interesting.
You feel sad, you rather than torturing yourself with those memories, because it is, right? It is, in a way, they say that you're bringing it upon yourself by going over it again and again in your head. And it's going to make you cry each time, but you're doing that to yourself. You need to figure out how to get out of it, and then what is it that you can do to make the situation better.
Interesting.
And you just pray to God. You pray for their maghfirat, you pray for their peace and harmony in the afterlife and all of that. And it makes you feel better, because that's all that you can do for them at that point.
As a, just as a therapist, I'm just telling you, you're beautiful at reframing. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just align this to a certain activity, this is something that I teach also, and I think masses ke liye it would be a very fruitful thing. And if we have a real life simulation of it, they would automatically understand the significance कि इसको कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है. Like, for example, let's take up something very random. So, is there any event in your life, like for example, which still might basically just hurt you at the moment? We're not going to talk about the event at all, but just if it hurts you and it's a painful thing as soon as it comes into the memory.
Yeah.
You have any one particular?
Yes, my Taya in the hospital, that's something I relive every day, and I try and get out of it because it's not going to do me any good.
And you have to a very great extent develop your own learnings around it for getting it out, right? So we're going to have set of like 6 questions, and हम लोग इन questions को सिर्फ ऐसे as a rhythmatic process पूछेंगे, and let's see if we can come out some answer. So fine, if Taya left you, for example, and you were very loved to him, which is a thing to go with, but इसके बारे में एक अच्छी चीज़ क्या हुई when he went away? What was good about it? Good.
I started my namaz regularly.
Beautiful. So that was a beautiful thing that happened because of that. And is there कोई एक और अच्छी चीज़ जो कि इसकी वजह से हो सकी? So that's question number 2. Is there anything else that might be good about it? या इसके बारे में अच्छा था?
You need to be surrounded by your loved ones. You need people there. Yeah. And that is what life is. You need to keep your people closer to you, because they're the ones who are going to be there for you. They're the ones who are going to be praying for you once you're not here. When you're not here, those are the realizations. So that's the second good thing.
And the third question, going on to a little bit more severe, किस सूरत-ए-हाल में ठीक है कि हमारे loved ones हमें छोड़ दें?
अगर आपकी लड़ाई होती है, अगर आपको loved ones छोड़ दे while they're still alive,
maybe they pass away or they leave us. But किस सूरत-ए-हाल में ये ठीक है?
सूरत-ए-हाल ठीक हो या ना हो, आपको ठीक होना पड़ता है, because it is going to happen. It is a possibility. While they're still alive, I would say give it some time, give it that space, give them, because एक खूनी रिश्ता कभी भी टूट नहीं सकता है.
So which relationship, like for example, in your own head, is something that you might want to right now recall and give that same dedicated amount of time?
My parents.
Awesome.
My Taya was like my bonus dad and mother, so he was my dad and mother in one. But I already have my set of parents, which I love them, and I love my siblings, I love my husband, I love my mother-in-law. I'm a very family-oriented person. So for me, they all matter very dearly to me, even my sister-in-law and her kids and her family.
So, in short, question number 4, what would you right now, in this moment, create a belief system for yourself so that this memory basically, whenever you look back at it, you only fill yourself with joy and there's no stress and anxiety about it ever in your life again? एक ऐसा क्या यकीन बनाना पड़ेगा आज while we're on the cafe?
They're always yeah. They live inside you. You are them. They're in you, and आपके चाहे वो actions हो, चाहे वो बात हो, चाहे वो upbringing हो, चाहे वो आपके features हो, कुछ भी हो. This will bring me joy.
Nice.
I'll see my mother in my, that okay, I have something. My hands, they look like my mother's hands. That kind of a thing. That oh, my lips are like my father's. That kind of. So they'll be a part of you forever, and it's that something that, they always live with you and they'll never leave you.
It's a beautiful learning. I enjoy this process because the brain can now neurologically categorize all these things and put them in one set. And so question number 5, like, what was the biggest learning for you, from all this that happened with your taya? एक चीज जो जिसने आपको सिखा दिया, something different.
That you come in this world alone and you leave this world alone, and everything else is a bonus in life, and you don't need to feel sorry about it. It applies to every single person. Okay? If it's there, that support, be grateful to Allah. But otherwise, don't count on it, I would say. You're in it alone, and aapka iman matters. Nobody will be answerable on your behalf. You're answerable on your own behalf.
And let's say, okay, should we ever think about this memory, what would we choose to now do differently? Like, what would you want to do differently? Which is the last bonus question so that we can sequence. Taya going away.
I would not like to do anything differently. Everything was perfect. Maybe I could have spent more time with him. It becomes very difficult for a girl when she moves to a different house after shadi to be able to give them that kind of time. Yet, no son or anyone else can give a parent that amount of time and attention and love and warmth and hands-on pyar that a daughter can do.
So not from that perspective from the past, but let's say from the perspective of coming future, what would you want to do differently whenever some memory like that triggers up? What would we want to do differently?
Nothing. I'm happy. I'm happy that like I said, that I've had that time to take it all in and understand what works. What works is just, praying for him and his soul.
So when you sequence all these thoughts together, just a question now again. Now, does it create any pain and misery for you? Does it feel?
Yes, it's still there. I know that I'm healing. My heart gets really weak when I talk about him because his memories are so fresh. It was 2 years. It's going to be 2 years in Jan. But the memories will always be very fresh because it was an unimaginable loss for me, a loss that I never wanted to face.
What is that one thing that you might have never said, done, thought? Something that would help you to liberate yourself from that level of pain.
It's not about having done something right or wrong. It was just, it's an unimaginable loss, right? So you'll always miss it. It will always be a very dear memory to you. That kind of a thing. I don't want to detach myself because it gives me a certain kind of pleasure knowing that I had someone like that in my life, and I want those memories fresh because I know that I can pray for him sincerely. I don't want that gap to kind of get filled with anything else other than that.
But if you could only improve on the little of the language patterns. So I'll give you an example, I think. So this story might, resonate with you. I had once a client who basically said, Arslan, मुझे झूठ से सख्त नफरत है. Have you heard people saying that? Yeah, झूठ से सख्त नफरत. Good. Yeah, but there's an irony to it. Okay. When somebody says कि मुझे झूठ से नफरत है, all that he would see around him is what? Because the mind is unconsciously going to pick it up. And, so hence the best statement rather to say would be something like, I appreciate and, I honor people who are honest. Yes. And once they keep saying that, they feel like लोग ने झूठ बोलने के लिए क्या vacation ले ली है, like, then they don't feel that they are liars. Of course. So again, if I had to ask you to reframe a situation, like for example, I'm not saying do away with the memories. We all understand that sadness, anger, these are not bad emotions. These are emotions that make us human. But one thing that you would want to basically ask and say yourself, not from the past, but from like today onwards, so that even if that memory does come in, it blossoms like flowers off, something else. So that doesn't instigate pain, but it instigates, motivation to do something more for others. What would that one thought be like that you can construct that would allow this pain to completely turn into something more remarkable?
I have no ideas yet as of now because I know that time heals everything. I don't know if I want to detach myself from these memories though.
Don't, not about detachment.
But it doesn't, I've stopped crying about it, you know.
Good.
Because I know that it's something that will happen to each and every one of us.
True.
And I'm glad that I could be there for him. And the fact that it it doesn't bring back any bad memories, or it doesn't make me sad.
Not about bad and sad. Like we said, sad is also a really good emotion. Don't worry, we're gonna just go through this. So what we're saying is that when we look at those memories in the associated state, कि हम लोग उनको देख रहे हैं, right? And one thing that would allow you to see that memory, okay, yet the mind blossoms with other set of really, positive thoughts. So what would that one thing be like if you said to yourself? It's just an additional learning question. Like and give it time.
What would help is for me to be able to see his kids move on.
Wow. Now as you say this,
They lost their dad. So they talk about it, and I feel really close to them because we talk about him and very fondly and his memories. So it would be nice to see them move on.
Wow.
They're already doing great things, to honor their father and their mother. None of them are in this world anymore, and it would be nice for me to see them kind of move past this pain. I keep counseling them about it as well, that let's pray for them, don't overthink it, you're torturing yourself, those kinds of things. And
So can I translate?
yes.
Wow. So and then this is where we're gonna almost end the video. So what you're technically actually saying, and do correct me if it's not occurring this. So you have actually a goal in your mind. There's an ambition lying inside the mind to having to see their children be successful. And if we worked on this goal, what would happen?
It would bring me joy.
Good.
Because, seeing them move on
Then
would
where's
mean...
the pain?
I'll tell you then. I wouldn't know. I don't know.
But would it still be there, or would it be completely gone?
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me just rephrase the pain bit. His
Yeah.
memories are fresh, so
Yeah.
that's on an 8, 10 on 10 basis. Pay. It's 8 on 10.
Yeah.
It's not pain. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. It's not pain. It is just his memories that are extremely fresh in my head. And there are times when I feel like I've had a dream and I met him, but I don't remember what that dream is. But I feel that, I just met Abba.
Okay.
It's not painful in any way. He's gone. He's in his whatever eventual life. He's entered that phase. So I'm not sad about him leaving. I'm happy about the memories, and I'm happy about the fact that his memories are fresh in my brain and my heart.
Beautiful. That is called reframe.
Yeah. That's what it is?
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
So
You
it's
did
amazing
what you
if you were able to say this, it's gonna empower you rather than putting you down and helping, we have some idiots around us, right? नहीं आप ऐसे क्यों सोचती हैं, आप ऐसे क्यों करती हैं? So it will basically, such, words and vibes create that massive amount of power. So I love that reframe. That's a reframe that we're gonna, I think, note down in the video as well. It's a very powerful way of structuring words, because what we structure, हम लोग उसी को ही अपने mind में neurologically process करते हैं. Let me be as honest as possible. Like all the clients that you have ever met, programming दिमाग की सारी जो होती है वो अल्फाजों से होती है. You understand this? Even the shaitan corrupts it through waswasa. So even having the right structured sentence कि हम लोग किस चीज़ को कैसे describe करें is a very very useful type of a pattern. But I understand that's a beautiful reframe, and we can always work towards a goal as well, which is basically now helping those children, not only counseling them, but
the children are grown up. It's just for me to be able to see them move past that mourning phase. They're still in mourning.
And
I'm not mourning, but I can relate to them, and I can feel their pain better than anyone else.
And what if I gave you certain cool strategies around that? Would that be helpful? Good. So one goal and one reframe. But I think that's how I basically do my stuff. But tell me anything that you would want to conclude during this.
Yes, anxiety, right? I know everyone's given this word anxiety and depression, and all of a sudden that's become a thing. It's there. It's important for you to have that awareness and understand that, okay, you've got it and you're feeling a bit differently than what you normally feel, and what you're feeling is not normal. But you need to understand that it's temporary, and you need to figure out how is it that you can get out of it. First thing, accept it. Second thing, talk about it. Go turn to a loved one, turn to your mother, your father, your friend, your husband, your sister, anyone that you think may understand. I would say get yourself checked medically as well, in case it is something that's not normal in your body that's kind of causing that as well. It can happen. um, Turn to Allah most importantly. That's the first thing that you should do right away. And then, if all of the above, you know, does not help in any way, then turn to Arslan. He will help you.
And I would always turn to Hira. I mean, it's been profound speaking to her. She's very natural in terms of her communication. I've had least amount of that experience with other people, but you're amazing. Thank you for coming on board.